The Last of Us was released to great acclaim, and is considered a masterpiece by gamers and critics alike. And one of the reasons this is so is because of its approach to gameplay. Whether you decide to play the game stealthy or guns blazing, how you take down your enemies, and what items you decide to craft are just some of the key decisions you'll make while playing The Last of Us. So here are 12 tips to help you get through it. Coming in at number 12 is don't fight enemies head on. If you're spotted, run. In past Naughty Dog games, like the Uncharted series for example, if enemies spotted you, the jig was pretty much up. Well, that's not the case with The Last of Us. The enemy AI is good, and when I say good, I mean really good, and it's possible to get them to react in realistic and surprising ways. If you get spotted, quickly run and hide, and keep circling and moving. The levels are big for a reason. Motion and stealth are your greatest advantages in this game, so use them. Coming in at number 11 is leave no stone unturned. Now it's tempting to run through this game, but I found that if you see an open room off the beaten path, more likely than not it'll contain something useful. In addition to useful tools and parts, you'll also find these great conversation pieces between Joel and Ellie, as well as possible better alternate routes to flank your enemies, because some of the game's best stories are told while rummaging through rooms. Coming in at number 10 is take all items you can carry. Now it's generally wise to have enough parts to craft at least one Molotov or medkit, and one melee or shiv upgrade. But if you wind up with too many of a given crafting item, make sure you're carrying the maximum amount, which is 3. And if you're not, craft an item and pick up the spare part. Do everything you can to avoid leaving crafting materials just lying around. Coming in at number 9 is save your shivs. Now shivs are probably the single greatest item in this game. You can use them to take down enemies silently and quickly, but you never should. This is partly because even though shivs become more durable as you progress through the game, you'll still require a full one in order to jimmy open a door. And if you have to use a shiv on enemies, then I suggest you use them on unaware clickers. You should always use a shiv to open a room, as it'll contain materials and items that'll make it well worth your while. But remember the golden rule, you should never be without a shiv. Coming in at number 8 is don't waste your blades upgrading your melee weapon. It really isn't worth it to waste an entire set of blades upgrading your melee weapon. Instead, save them for your shivs. There are enough melee weapons lying around such that if your old one breaks, it's really no hassle to find a new one, and it really isn't worth it to sacrifice an entire set of blades just to get 1 or 2 more hits out of a weapon. Coming in at number 7 is crack all the safes. Now at various points throughout the game, Joel will come upon a locked safe, where the combination is usually in the near vicinity, and it's always worth it to open these. There's one in a hotel in Pittsburgh that's particularly worth getting, as it contains an incredibly valuable upgrade manual. Be creative and examine every inch of the room you're currently in. The Last of Us doesn't allow much for backtracking, so the combination is likely on a document somewhere in the near vicinity. Coming in at number 6 is upgrade health and listening distance first, then weapon aim. The first thing that you should upgrade is Joel's health, followed by his listening distance. Save your upgrade pills though, as some of the abilities like faster healing and faster crafting are mostly useless. Also, while the single save against clickers is nice, it wastes shivs to no end, and I've always preferred to keep the damn clickers away from me in the first place. Coming in at number 5 is improve your holsters first. Now as you collect parts, you'll be able to upgrade weapons at various workbenches throughout the game. But before you upgrade your weapons, it's a good idea to improve your long gun holster and your pistol holster first. That'll make it possible for you to quick select 2 of each weapon, and make it a lot easier to survive without having to rummage through your backpack in any given situation. Coming in at number 4 is choose your weapon upgrades wisely. Now you won't be able to craft all the weapon upgrades in the game, or come even close to it, so be sure to choose your weapon upgrades wisely. The next best thing to upgrade is your hunting rifle. Add a scope, and increase the weapon's capacity. Beyond that, it's more important to focus on clip capacity than it is reload speed. And don't be so hung up on range and fire rate. Any weapon that only holds 1 bullet at a time should quickly be upgraded to hold at least 2. Sure, the weapon is powerful, but if you miss, you're going to want to have another round ready to go. Coming in at number 3 is don't engage clickers when you don't have to. At several points in the game, you'll enter a room or a building and you'll find a lot of clickers who are asleep. They're not moving and can't see you, and won't react unless you make a lot of noise. If you're careful, you'll be able to get through these areas without alerting them to your presence, and still be able to grab all the loot around them. There's no real reward for killing zombies, so you're better off just saving your ammo and sneaking around them. Coming into number 2 is try everything in your inventory. Now, The Last of Us isn't a game where you just pick one or two of your favorite weapons and just stick to them. Everything from nail traps to smoke bombs to different types of guns is useful. Try them out in various encounters. However, I will say that the revolver is probably the most redundant weapon. Everything else, however, has a good use against one enemy type within the game. And coming in at number 1 is bricks are your best friend. Now, the brick is the easiest weapon to forget to use, but it's also one of the most useful. That's partly because while bricks can be used to take down a clicker or a dude, you'll never run out in the traditional sense like you do with other weapons because there's always cinder blocks lying around. Save your lead pipe for extreme situations. Other than that, be sure to use your trusty brick. Now, I want to hear what you have to say. Do you agree with my list? Do you disagree with it? Is there a tip that you want mentioned that I may have forgotten to put on this list? Feel free to place a comment in the comment section below, and as always, feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel. That being said, I'm the Millennium Gamer, signing off.